I think I saw the Groypers making fun of him for crying. I think that's fucked up. Yep. Oh
Hello?
shit. Yo, hey, what's
Oh,
up?
what's up,
Yeah,
man?
go
I want
ahead.
to talk
Yeah,
about
what's up?
ice. Are you still watching the Legal
Yeah.
Eagle video?
Yeah, I just began. It's 4 minutes in. Yeah, what's up?
Oh, okay. Well, if you want to finish watching it, that's cool. But I know I just
Yeah,
want to
no,
talk
go
about the
ahead.
case. What do you know? Do you know like all the details so far, or are you missing information, or what do you know so far?
I mean, I know that he was just basically executed, possibly by multiple officers in the back while he was disarmed. Yeah, they were just like
Yep.
they made sure he was dead rather than like any justification even close to self-defense.
Did you
Yeah.
know that that they denied? I think it's the Minnesota Criminal Investigations. I'm not sure the official name for it. They denied them investigating the scene. They turned away those
Really?
investigators and told them to fuck off, and then
Mhm.
promptly left right after. But when they left it open for all these protesters to come and swarm the scene. So I think as of right now, there hasn't been an investigation of the actual crime scene.
No way.
Um,
What?
yeah, it's kind of wild. They were completely turned away. I think there was a case filed against it or for this today, or it might have been yesterday. Um, but yeah, these people are just
Jesus.
covering up their crimes. It's disgusting. It's really, really, really triggering. You saw that Pam Bondi was asking Walls to turn over voter rolls information in
Yes, yes,
exchange for
I
ICE
read
safety.
that. Yeah, I read that letter on stream. Yeah.
What do you? Obviously, we don't know yet, but what do you think
Mhm.
that's for? Like, why do you think she wants that voter roll information?
It's
Because it seems
to
completely unrelated.
discredit. It's to discredit the votes that they deem to be illegal or whatever, because Minnesota is a very blue state. So they're gonna say, oh, all of these votes are by illegal immigrants. They don't count. They're trying to create the preset to claiming voter fraud the next time the Democrats win in that state.
So the only reason she wanted is basically to just okay throw away the votes. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, these people are fucking evil. It's really, really gross. Have you seen the responses that the Republicans have been saying about it? Like the
Um,
defenses they're running basically.
the responses. Uh, no. Tell me.
Aside from calling him a domestic terrorist, the one that I've seen the most from the pundits, it's twofold. The first one is
Mm.
obviously, oh, he was attacking them. That he went in there, not to like kill ICE agents necessarily, but to like help disrupt it, like a paid type of agitator. There's constant by everybody. There's constantly implying that this guy, he wasn't there like, oh, he's not there just to film ICE. He's there to agitate them and make sure that he can disrupt them. They wanted this to happen. They fucking wanted this to happen. It's that same old retarded conspiracy theory, um, of the fucking Soros agitators. It's fucking, I keep saying it's sickening, but it really is. It's fucking annoying as shit to see these people constantly do this shit, to think that like that ICE agent probably won't face any legal ramifications. I highly doubt it, unless they throw him under the bus, which I think they probably won't. Um, but things just
No.
keep,
Yeah.
yeah, things could just keep escalating, and I don't understand what like the end goal is like for these people. Like I'm not sure why, like what the shooting itself makes no sense to me. I don't understand why he needed to be shot. There was somebody in my chat that was saying like, oh, this is the second defense, is that like, oh, maybe when the guy yelled out gun or whatever, the officers panicked and they thought that, oh he has a gun on him, I have to take care of this. The officer that shot him initially, if you look at the video frame by frame, you can see that he was looking down at his back when the gun was removed. So I'm not sure in what world you could be like, oh fuck. Well, maybe it was just a really chaotic situation, and who knows, anybody could have acted in this way. These are like supposed to be trained professionals, no? Am I crazy? Obviously they're not, but they're supposed to be.
They're
Um,
aren't they trained for less than 2 months?
I'm not sure the exact training. I need to look into that. But either way, they're obviously not. These are fat high school dropouts, who are incapable of doing anything but bullying people. Um, it's yeah, it's a lot. It's just a lot. And I'm not sure. What do you think? What do you think the messaging should be around this? If you could pick the messaging for the Democratic Party,
Oh, somebody is saying it's 2 weeks.
2 weeks training. Damn, you get trained more at McDonald's, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't double checked that though. So yeah, don't take my word for it.
But what do you think the messaging should be around this? Not just like, oh, ICE needs to
Mm,
get out. I feel like it needs to be stronger than that.
I think you can do. I think you can fight two birds with one stone. Um, so the Democrats also need to appeal to young people, right? Young males, yeah, like men.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I think that you need to tap into that a little bit. Like you need to say something like, look at Alex Preddy. This person was just like you, right? This could have been you. This could have been me. He's been a soldier against fascism, embodying the spirit of like the World War II soldiers, just like our forefathers, just like the World War II soldiers. We need to fight against fascism. Trump right now is the fascism. They are the Nazis. They are the Gestapo. Do your part or something.
Yep.
Yep.
The I was doing a lot of
I think that's a good messaging, maybe.
I agree. I've been doing a lot of research. Well, not a lot. I just started doing research into the Gestapo. Um, it seems way more like the people were like the SA. I forget the actual term for it, but it's another branch of government, or it was the paramilitary organization that Hitler used when they were rising up in power, or whatever. I think back then it was normal for political parties to have their own like police officers or whatever. Well, I say police, basically security forces. And these people were the ones who were like kidnapping people off the streets and
Oh,
torturing
the
them and stuff like that.
Gestapo? Yeah, the
No,
Gestapo,
no, no, no.
right?
The SA,
The
the
Bronx.
Gestapo was mostly for political suppression. They did do that, but not like I don't want to say not even close, but not as much as the SA did. I'm gonna tell you the hold on, I'll tell you the name right now because I always forget these fucking German words. It seems like they're called the Sturmabteilung. I have no idea. I don't speak German, but these were the
Yeah.
people that were kidnapping people and disappearing them for no reason other than like they just didn't like you. This was after obviously the Nazis had all their power. Um, but it seems like that's way more what it's going to be looking into. The Gestapo would be more like an FBI or a CIA who do investigations into like these weird other fringe political parties and stuff like that, who they think they might be rising up. The essay was for the common people, and that's what it seems like. But this level of like agitation of constantly getting like more and more heated, more and more justified killings, I'm not sure what the end goal is for the Trump administration. I can't tell if it's just like trying to
Uh,
flex.
I would
Yeah,
say that maybe like maybe they are using like Hitler's thing as a fucking um handbook. I think for what they're doing things because clearly they're trying to build up to like a crystal knocked of some kind, right? And I think that this entire thing is their version of trying to build up to a crystal knock, but for brown people. I don't know. I think they're trying to boil political and racial tensions to the point where we have a race war. And once that happens, then they can move on to whatever next plan to like get the Trump people into power essentially to reenact like that same plan, I think. Because whatever works before, is clearly working again. So they're just following the rule book, right?
I guess the only thing is that I'm not sure if race is the primary motivating factor for Trump and his goons. I mean, it's like the Nazis had like a
It's money and power, right? That's it. I mean, that's also what Hitler had, right? Money and power.
kind of, but I think
Like
Hitler cared more about the power. You
uh
know,
I mean, does it even matter? Money is power, power is money. I don't care. Like, does
I
it
think
even
there's a stark
matter?
difference. I think money can buy influence, but power is power. There's a stark difference. Hitler
Well,
wasn't like
yeah,
a rich
that's
man.
why. That's why he's president right now, and not just still a CEO. No,
Yeah, but then I would
because there are
like
some things you can't buy. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But I'm not sure if ICE is just meant to is like a front just so we can or just so they can add fucking
Just a drink.
pressure on voters
Martini.
and intimidate them
Fun
from
stuff.
voting against them or
Let's
whatever.
not forget they
That
They
tried this in
seems
California and
yeah.
failed. Gavin Newsom pushed back hard. They're trying again against walls. They'll keep iterating and improving with the next state.
Yeah, maybe they're using the state as lab tests for
Just a drink.
fascism. Yeah,
A
maybe.
martini.
Corey, thank you so
Sugar
much for $10.
instead.
Let's not forget they tried
Yeah, I
this in
agree.
Oh my god, it
California and
repeats
failed.
twice. Fuck
Gavin
me,
Newsom
dude.
pushed back
Oh,
hard.
Jesus
They're
Christ.
Oh
trying
my
again against
lord.
walls.
That's
They'll keep
definitely got to get
iterating and
fixed.
improving
Oh
with the next
no.
state.
That's really bad. Okay, yeah,
That's
go ahead.
unfortunate.
Sorry. Hmm.
Um no, yeah, I just have like I struggle with thinking the race thing is the primary motivating factor. I think that they don't
No, you're
like
fine.
brown people, and I think immigration's like a good way to like flex your strength or whatever. I think that's definitely a part of it. Um, but like what it looks like to me from the outside is yeah, they're just trying to stoke the flames harder and harder, but not for a race war, but more so for like a I don't know what you would call it, a nationalist war, I guess, um, or an authoritarian war, where they're just trying to implement authoritarianism over like some sort of racial hierarchy. It's not like the Nazis had Jews in their fucking their fucking positions of power and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just really it's a lot. I hate seeing people justify this shit. I heard that Connor was bootlicking about this. Am I crazy? I don't know if you heard
Oh,
about
you're not
that.
crazy. He was for the Renee Good specifically. I don't know about this one, but I think for the Renee Good shit, yeah, he was bootlicking. Yeah.
Yeah, that really sucks because I like Connor a little
Yeah,
bit.
I
So
mean that's what I've been saying about Connor. You know, all this entire time, people just don't listen. Whatever, man.
I like Connor. I think that, well, generally speaking, maybe my opinion will change now. I can't imagine that he'll justify this one, but a lot of the Republican
Oh, you
responses are just
sure?
fucking.
Okay. Well,
I fucking hope not. This one was shot like there's like a thing with the Renee Good that like a retard could look at that and be like, oh well, she was trying to run him over, obviously. Like that's super reasonable. How do you justify shooting somebody in the back after they're fucking disarmed? Um, it's insane. And these people just like giggle and go along with it. I was gonna ask you because I wasn't able to get to it. What was Asmongold saying about this? You said you covered his response to it.
he was just basically downplaying the entire time. I think he was criticizing ICE, but he only said like, "Oh, well, it seems like the officer who executed him really, really fucked up right here. Only really, really fucked up." But he just basically says like, even if it wasn't justified for him, he would need like a full investigation. Which I mean, to be honest, like accordingly to what you're saying, like they're not even getting an
ICE is
investigation.
preventing. Yeah,
So
exactly.
so Asmongold needs to be able to say that he's not okay with this, but I don't think he's gonna do that at all. Like I don't think so.
Yeah, obviously this guy's a fucking disgusting rat. Yeah, it's just it's just a lot, and it's a really scary place that the country is heading because this is just like it's happening constantly. Not the killings, although I think that'll definitely ramp up. But there's always something new that they're doing. I know that it's the flood the zone tactic, but I'm not sure how we're
What
meant
that
to
Steve
keep
Bannon
up.
said. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is like the bread and butter play of this administration. They just keep constantly doing shit, so you have to move past it. Like nobody's talking about Maduro anymore, even though that has
Yep.
huge international
Exactly.
ramifications.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
that shit is just gone. That's gone. Renee Good's gonna be gone in like a month. This one will also be gone in like a month when he does some other insane, stupid
Hmm.
shit, unless ICE kills somebody else. Um, but yeah, it's just it's ramping and ramping up, and I'm not sure. Like, I hate to do a Tim Pool, but like there could be like not a civil war necessarily, but like some kind. I think what they're hoping for is to be able to shut down protesters forcibly. That's what I think the end goal, at least for this, might be. They want to like intimidate the protesters more and more until they
Hmm.
basically say like, well, look, they're constantly attacking us, so we have no choice but to kill these people, basically. I'm not sure.
It's another fascist strategy called testing the waters, where they have to constantly test like new bounds and stuff, and they're trying out new ways to see whether or not they're going to enforce the rules. Like for example, Trump is always trying out new ways in order to break laws all the time, and he's becoming more and more brazen with it. Just mainly because he's going to feel more and more comfortable doing it, right? And you're going to see that happening as well. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but not it is what it is. It's pretty bad, but
I mean, yeah, it's
yeah.
bad. What do you want me to say? Yeah, it's
Sure,
pretty like
yeah, sure.
mm, sure, sure, yeah. Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, I would advise all the people in your stream to like go and protest, obviously, but yeah, I mean, at this point, you're basically putting your life on the line because at any point you might just be shot. Clearly, if you have any, if they have any inkling, any slight justification to just execute you, it seems like they just will. Like, there's no way that that ICE agent would have shot Alex if Renee didn't die. I don't think.
Mhm,
This one seems like he not necessarily was motivated by that, but he must have seen at least somewhat of a justification. Um, I guess we have to wait for more information to come out because I just can't imagine what was going through this ICE agent's head when he sees the gun gets removed and shoots him anyway. There's no people are saying that obviously he was rushing the ICE agents, but if you look at the video, he's just helping out the other protester, like stand up. I think Legal Eagle talks about that too. That all he was doing was helping somebody else, and even with that, um, they'll just fucking kill you. They don't care. It's a little scary seeing where the country's
mhm.
going. Who knows what we can do? Who knows what we can do? But yeah, I think I'm gonna ask Destiny the exact same questions as you. I want to see. I feel like there needs to be way stronger messaging on this. That's like my core belief, that I think that we need to push really hard on the ICE shootings. I feel like this is like the one of the weaker spots for the Trump administration. There's also justifications you can use for like Maduro and all this other bullshit, but
Hmm.
for this, it feels like there's nothing. You can't really say anything. I feel like normies must be waking up to it. Um, did you see that the Libertarian Party? I think I don't know if he's the leader or whatever, but the main Twitter was tweeting out that this is like a horrible crime or whatever. So even
Yeah.
like the retard normies are turning on him.
Yeah,
So
I mean, like, I don't know about that. I mean, we have to wait until the next polls to see whether or not that's happening. I've just been blackpilled by the normies so hard at this point that I just don't believe in them anymore. I don't think I just don't know whether or not they're able to pull through anything. To be honest, like we'll see. Do you know how Hutch talks about this? Have you seen any Hutch
no,
streams on this?
I did
Okay,
not.
I
What
have
did he
no idea
say?
either. I don't know.
Oh, okay,
That's
nice.
why I'm asking. Yeah.
Who knows? Who
Um.
knows what Huck was saying?
Yeah, but like that's what I'm worrying about because I'm afraid that people will have rhetoric where, there are excuses to be complacent when you can't be complacent, and that's my worry essentially.
Was Hutch giving excuses for the Renee Good shooting?
Uh no. He was not. I don't think so. But
Yeah,
Stumbling
I
is
would hope not.
saying Hutch hasn't streamed. Yeah. But it's more
Oh,
like
okay.
it's more like they're not condemning it hard enough. Like you're condemning it, but you're not condemning it hard enough. That's my issue. Because
Yeah,
I don't think it's enough to just simply say, "Oh, that's bad," and then just move on, right? Like I think you have to go, "That's bad," and I wouldn't be surprised if some of you guys fucking died. Like that, like in my opinion, that has to be the correct response. Otherwise, like it's not tenable to me. But yeah.
yeah. I think I hit like it just feels like ratcheting up the temperature even more. But I think it could be good if they did go out and say like you might die protesting these people, but you
No,
still should.
I think it's good. I think it's good to turn up the temperature if you're on the good side.
Would you be like,
Hmm.
theoretically speaking, you
Yeah.
would you be okay with people like fighting back like violently against ICE? Theoretically.
Well, let me just say the current level of violence against ICE is unacceptable.
Gotcha. Understood. Standing back and standing by. But yeah,
Stop. Okay.
okay, no, but for real, like yeah, these people, something just needs to be done about it. I think the next thing they're gonna do is start infiltrating the signal groups that are like watching ICE. There's another huge talking point that apparently the signal groups, I believe it's just ICE monitoring. That I'm pretty sure that's all it is. But Republicans are saying that these people are hunting down ICE agents. That's like
Okay.
the phrase I keep using or keep seeing over and over and over again. Um, and yeah, like it seems like what they want at the end of the day, yeah, it's just to kill innocent people. And hopefully suppress enough voters that they can keep fucking Republicans in power over and over and over again. Um, and I'm not sure how that'll work out. Do you like obviously I'm sure you support like some sort of Nuremberg trial shit against these people,
Yeah.
obviously.
Hmm.
Yeah, but do you think it'll happen? What do you think the feasibility is on that? Because you still have 3 more years.
I think that there has to be years and years and years of trials because, in my opinion, like for example, what Germany is doing is acceptable, just mainly because, like I'm pretty sure the last trial for a Nazi, like for a Nazi from back then, like ended only like 10 years ago or something like that. Like this guy was like 95 years old. This guy was like 95 years old, like a 95-year-old, like fucking, um, Nazi officer or some shit from back then. And it finally ended. And it's like, man, what is even the point of like meting out a punishment? Because it's like, dude, this guy's literally gonna die in the next 5 years. So it's like, what's the point? So then they just gave him
Yeah,
5 years in prison and that's it. But like at that point, everybody already understands that the Nazis are like the most evil scum on earth. And so does the Nazi officer at that point. So it's like there's no more point to like meting out punishment outside of like symbolism, I guess. But like it shows the commitment. It shows the commitment to like correcting history, in my opinion, right? Because in that way, history has been corrected, right? Because there has been American Nazis during that time period. There has been other Nazis in other countries, right? Just like how there's other MAGA like in other countries in this day, right? To this day, Canada looking at you. But like there has to be some kind of correction of narrative, like Destiny said. But right now, because so many things are being queued up, like the amount of crimes that are being queued up because they're flooding the zone, right? They're trying to go as fast as possible to gain power, without letting people breathe or without letting people catch up on, what's happening right now. That's the strategy right now, and yeah, that's pretty scary, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. You keep comparing MAGA to the Nazis, which I kind of agree with. Do you think the goal of MAGA is to like institute camps or some kind of like huge national punishment for Democrats for like, I don't know, stealing the election or any of that bullshit?
Yeah, I mean, they're already trying to do it, right? The ICE facilities.
Yeah, but I wouldn't describe those as like camps for Democrats. That's just like cruelty. In my opinion, all that is just to basically flex their strongman power.
Well,
I think a
then
lot
I
of
ask you, the same question that you asked me. What do you think they're going to do with the voter information?
that's the one thing I'm not exactly sure of. I'm not sure what the goal of that is, other than to get a concession. But clearly, Bondi has
You
some
need to think
idea.
bigger. I think you need to think bigger than that. Yeah.
Um, I can see it as suppressing voters. I can see that, but I'm not even sure how they would go about that in a reasonable way. Let's say Bondi gets her hands on the voter roll information. What then? Is she going to use it to like hunt down people who voted? Is that what you think will happen?
Maybe.
It could happen, I guess.
Well, I
Yeah, I
mean,
guess we'll
like,
have.
because nothing's out of question for this administration. Like, they're literally willing to do mega gas chambers if they have the production value for it.
Um, I mean, yeah, the production value, but also the I think political will. I think that's still somewhat of a
Like, literally,
factor.
you realize the only thing that's holding them back is that they're dumb fucks. Like, that's literally the only thing that's like holding them back. But if they didn't have their like low intelligence holding them back, then yeah, they would have gone a lot further now, I would say.
Maybe I think the issue is that they like you said they're trying to flood the zone and push or not flood the zone. They're trying to test the waters. They're trying to push harder and harder and harder.
Mhm.
So if the end goal for that is like camps or some kind of like mass punishment, I think that's what they want. I think they want some kind of
But
mass
they
punishment.
they invoked fucking shit from like World War II, right? I mean, remember the Japanese internment camps? Didn't
I
they
do.
like fucking imprison somebody just for their ethnicity? That's insane. Yeah. So
True.
if they could use that as a precedent in the past, why can't they do it again? Like I don't see why they can't do that, right? But instead of doing that, like they'll just say brown people. That's
Yeah,
it.
but brown are brown people like the biggest voting bloc of any race? I'm pretty sure that
No, it's
the
not about
reason.
voting. No. It's not about voting. Like at that point, like if we ever got to that point, like it's not about like purging a voter base anymore. It's about ethnic cleansing, right? Which is what they're already doing. They're already doing that right now. They're doing ethnic cleansing. What's the next step after that?
Hmm. I mean,
Think
yeah,
about it. Yeah.
I can agree with this in theory. I just have a hard time grappling with the race-based analysis of this. I don't think it's about necessarily race. I think it is like a factor. Like obviously we want to get these disgusting brown people out of our country, but
Oh,
I don't think
it's
that's the
it's
end
it's
goal.
almost 100% about race. I'll say.
No, I don't know. Because
Okay.
if that were the case, why aren't they targeting other minority groups? Why is it only like Latinos? Obviously, you have some comments against Somalians because he hates fucking Ilhan Omar.
You mean
Um,
yet, right? You mean yet, right? Because they are targeting Latino groups and now they're moving on to other groups of people, right? And there's also trans people, which is not like a race kind of thing, but then they're 100% going to go like they have already gone after gay marriage, they have already gone after abortion. Yeah, I mean, they're expanding beyond than just Latinos, no?
yeah, maybe. We'd have to see what's it called? We have to see what happens, I guess, because I can't imagine they'd start rounding up trans people. I think the illegal immigration
You don't think
provides like a
that?
veneer of
You,
cover.
you really you
No,
really
I
don't think
think they
that?
will, but not sending out like ICE or police officers. So like if you're trans, like we're gonna arrest you, and I don't know, deport you or do whatever with you. That seems like the thing about the Trump administration, they they still have some, I don't know if it's shame or if they still fear some kind of retribution because they're
No,
not
they don't have shame.
necessarily
No, they don't have shame. They don't have shame.
but they don't they don't admit what they do. They lie. They constantly try to cover like the actual facts. Like I feel like if that were the case, why wouldn't they just come out and say like, yeah, he's dead and we killed him and we're gonna keep going? You know what I mean? Like fuck yeah. They have to some degree, but it's always some kind of justification. Like, oh, he was trying to massacre law, or Freddy was trying to massacre law enforcement. Renee, she was trying to run over this ice guy. It's never like we killed them because they were impeding our investigation, like plain and simple. And we're gonna keep doing it. If we feel like you're gonna impede on us, we'll just kill you.
Well, I mean,
There's still
at this point, we're speculating, right? How about you tell me then?
tell you what exactly.
Tell me the answer. What you're looking for?
I'm just honestly, I'm just jacking off. I'm genuinely trying to just gather information. Because I'm not sure. I'm still not completely sure what the end goal is. Like, I do agree that there needs to, or there's going to be.
Why can't the end goal be something similar to Hitler? Why can't that be the end goal?
I think that could be the end goal, but not in the sense like Hitler was. Like, he was trying to acquire power, but the veneer was always the Jews. They like it was getting the Jews out, getting rid
Well,
of the communists or
is
whatever.
that not the same as the immigrants? No, you don't think so?
Not necessarily,
They're
because
trying to get the immigrants out. No.
yes, but I don't think the goal
Okay.
is to put them necessarily in camps. Well,
Well,
it's just it's hard to say.
well, for now, right? I don't think the Holocaust began with gassing. The Holocaust. I'm pretty sure somebody said like the Holocaust began with deportations, right?
Oh yeah, I think it did.
Wait,
I think
also, by the way, you can't go from 0 to 100 immediately, right? You have to go step by step, ramping up the escalation shit as fast as possible, right? That's what you have to do. You
yeah.
have to do it ASAP. You can't just rush it all the way to the camps like immediately. You have to start with deportations, and then you have to go to normalizing like having deaths in the camp. And not only that, like deaths in the camp is almost already normalized. No one's talking about it as much as anything else. Like no one is talking about people dying in the facilities. No one's talking about that. People are dying in the facilities. Okay. And because of mistreatment and abuse and sexual abuse and shit like that, right? It's already happening, but like it's already starting to take effect. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's not good.
No, trust me, I can see the argument, and I kind of agree. Maybe there's like a little part of me that holds out hope that like, okay, wait, guys, it isn't just about like, or sorry, that I don't think that America could possibly descend into that. But I mean, I would never thought that America would elect Trump again. Um, but
Uh, I mean, I feel like we've entertained. So, like, if you told me years ago that Trump would never, like, if you told me years ago that Trump would go after, um, Medicare and he would go after food stamps and shit like that, I would be looking at you and I'll be like, that's crazy. He would never touch that because it would be political suicide. Now I look at you and look what they're trying to do. They're trying to punish people by starving them, and they're trying to punish people by taking away their health care. Two things that I never believed that they would do 10 years ago. But now, right now, we're questioning things that he would never do now. 10 years from now, who knows where we'll be, right? Probably death camps. Who knows?
the other thing is that Trump is, well, I don't want to say likely, but he very well may die within 10 years. I don't think he has the same timeline that Hitler did. Um, necessarily. I mean, yeah, I think he
Well, it
might try
doesn't
for his
need
first
you don't need
lives.
you don't no. Trump is only there to secure popular power, okay? But like once Trump dies, hopefully they'll get to a point where they no longer need to secure popular power because they have all facets of control, right? Then somebody who is like not charismatic can take over and be smart enough to actually enact rapid fascistic change that doesn't actually require something like popular power to pull through, right? Like for example, whatever Trump is doing right now is that he's stupid, he's moronic, and he's incredibly narcissistic. So what he does is that he gathers the support behind him, but then once he's gone, then obviously whoever is left is smart but not charismatic. So then they can just wield the power that Trump has already accrued for them in order to carry out the plans, right? Like that's what
Do
I
you think that
think.
a potential Trump successor would even have the political will to do this? I feel like Trump is really unique in his sense to, like, of being able to capture people. I don't think that anybody else has that same power, in my opinion. Like, I don't see JD Vance or Stephen Miller coming in and everybody loves him just as much as they love Trump. I feel like they would be open to way, way, way more scrutiny. Because Trump has some unique effect on these fucking retards. Um, which would like put a damper in their plans, in my opinion. Um, I guess you could say that they're trying to do it as fast as possible, while they have Trump there and while he's alive. But I don't know. Afterwards, I'm not so sure. I feel like I don't know if it'll die out completely, but I think the political will definitely like take a massive hit when Trump finally kicks the bucket. And I'm not sure if that like
Well, that's
I'm
why they're rushing, right? Like that's why they're going as fast as possible because they know that Trump doesn't have long, right? But once Trump is gone, then a lot of the willpower will be gone with him, which is why they're trying to secure as much power as possible before Trump is gone. It's as simple as, right?
what do you think people should do then? In terms of like right now,
Die.
besides like no, not them. I mean people opposing them.
Oh.
Yeah,
Die.
everybody should just die.
No, I mean like obviously not, but like I'm saying like in, well, all I'm gonna say is that the current violence against ICE is unacceptable. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, like, what do you think people opposing Trump should do to try to prevent this from happening?
I hope that whoever saves the country is not committing a law.
Uh-oh. Okay, that's not the answer I expected, to be honest, but okay, based, in my opinion.
I mean,
Um,
committing a criminal act. Sorry,
yeah,
I don't
no
know.
illegal shit, guys, please. No illegal stuff. Um,
I'm not.
I just feel
I'm
like
telling people to chill. Yeah, go.
I just think that protests just to me don't seem like enough. That's the issue that I'm having. It feels like they just ignore the protests because at least in this modern age of the internet, things just come and go so quickly that they just want to write it out. It's like streaming through a controversy. It's like, oh, we just keep doing our shit and eventually like they'll just
Yep.
forget. I mean, you don't see like there are big protests in Minneapolis for sure, but like across the country there doesn't seem to be. No, nobody's like rising up like they were with like Black Lives Matter and stuff. There aren't these like massive protests going on. Um, and I'm not even sure if there were, if that would be enough political pressure to stop them. The only thing I think that should really happen is that these like, I think that more and more Democratic lawmakers need to go just way harder. That's like the big thing for me. I feel like, let's say we win the midterms, and we have control of the House and the Senate. I think you could you
Mm.
not start some of these like I don't know what you call it, basically like these retribution lawsuits against the Trump administration. I feel like that's a really I feel like that's a solid idea, but it feels like every single Democratic lawmaker is still like hedging super hard. Like Walls is only saying like get ICE out of Minnesota. And it's like okay, but they're just gonna go to another city, or another state. Like there's no stopping these people. There's okay, fuck off then, and maybe they will, but who's to say they're not gonna go to back to Chicago, or they'll head straight to Los Angeles or something, um, stuff like that. I feel like obviously Gavin Newsom's doing a good job of like pushing back really hard with the messaging, but I don't know, like there needs to be some stronger call for action against this type of stuff. But I'm not really sure what that would look like. That's the only thing. Like
Um, it would probably have to be a combination of stuff. Probably a combination of legislation as well as active civilian civil disobedience and pushback, as well as other stuff. But it's like it has to be a combination of stuff. It can't just be one thing, I think. Because like as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to rectifying the history behind the Nazis, like it's not just the Nuremberg trials, but they teach like the Holocaust in schools constantly. So
yeah, I think there needs to be some process similar to de-Stalinization in the United States afterwards, 100%. Because these people worship Trump like nothing else. But the scary thing for me is that I don't think that'll happen. Even if there are some kind of trials, it might be maybe Stephen Miller, maybe Christy Nome might come under fire. Maybe they'll even get arrested. But like, won't 50% of the country still believe all the shit that they said?
yeah, it's pretty
Um,
fucked.
yeah, exactly. And I'm not sure like the problem for me is like maybe I'm too boomer, but like I feel like TikTok and Instagram Reels and all this shit, it just prevalates or it promotes this so much where like people just ignore it. It's like, yeah, whatever, these are just more democratic lies, whatever. And then yeah, the next candidate comes in and capitalizes on it. And I'm not sure how to prevent that from happening. Because I don't think it'll end. I think it'll definitely like die out, not die out. I think it'll be harmed when Trump dies. But in terms of like in terms of long term preventative measures against this type of stuff from happening again, I'm not sure it's even possible. Um, do you think it is?
Yeah.
What do you think would happen then? What do you think they should do? Because I feel like
I mean, I told you,
I really
right?
feel like yeah, true.
I mean, I
Um,
can't tell you a definite answer. I'm not a political like analyst. I'm a fucking comp sci major, dude.
true, very true. Okay,
Yeah,
well, just
I'm
wanted your
like
opinion there.
radiant, you know. I just don't know that much about politics.
You just had to bring him up. you you just had
No,
to bring him up.
I mean like I mean that in the way where it's like, you know, my answer is as good as ChatGPT. Okay.
Oh, okay, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I
Yeah.
guess I'll ask Rock what he thinks then, and I'll get
You should
back to
ask
you.
Radiant.
Oh, true. He's my political expert. Okay, well, it was nice talking to you then. Thanks for
Okay.
your answers. Goodbye, food shops. Goodbye,
All
food
right.
shops
Bye.
chat.
See ya. Oh, wait. Can I get this to fucking 6 capsules a minute now? All goals are complete. Oh my god! Finally, this fucking took too long, dude. Fuck me. Okay. Back to this video. Fuck me. Oh wait. What's this? Yo, hey, what's up?
Oh shit. Can't hear anything.
Yo. Hey, hello?
Hey. Hey, now I can hear it.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, I wanted to bring up a few things. I wish Case was here because now it feels like I'm talking to a shadow. But the main thing is like to
I
the
mean, he
point
could.
of like
I mean, Case could rejoin to disagree if you want. Case, where are you? Matsugen here. Lefty, by the way. Disagrees. Are you a lefty?
I'd say I'm a base lib, but maybe I'm a lefty.
Okay. All right. Do you still follow Lonerbox?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen a lot of the stuff he's done lately though.
Okay, I just pinged him. All right, we'll see.
Okay. I can
Um.
just get
Yeah. What's your
started.
thoughts? Go.
The main thing is like this idea that that we aren't in the midst of like a
But
fascism or like a Nazism kind of like analog, because I just wanted to bring up like without I don't know how to sound without being smug, but it's like, are you familiar with like what the Nazis did in the 1930s towards Jews? Because it's very similar to like what's going on now. It was voluntary deportations, it was seizing of property, it was removing of services, it was removing of citizenship, right? Like we see all these things happening where the Trump government is trying to remove the legitimacy of these people already. Like the camps and the final solution, everything were a desperate, like these legal means aren't enough kind of thing. And to the point of like political will, we've already seen like multiple cases of the government going and saying it's the executive branch. One, they should be able to do everything because they're charged with managing it. And we even have Stephen Miller going on TV saying that they have plenary power, which is basically the power to do anything that is necessary. Political will is a game that you play in Congress where you think you might not get reelected, right?
are you asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Generally
So
speaking, I guess.
like, but yeah, to rebuttal or not rebuttal that, but then bring up like what you should be doing. I think back to the Nixon crisis, right, where we had another president who was leveraging the office to spy on his opponents and try to uh, basically do the same things Trump's now. And it really has to be uh, an all-in decision, not just protests. I think back to reports that every congressman was getting letters and faxes so much that it overloaded the postal system and they couldn't even handle everything. So they had to bring in 5 other states' postal system workers so they could come in and just sort through the mail. It needs to be something where every person is like dropping a letter in the mail every week of saying this is um, unacceptable, or sending out a you can send out a fax from your computer to your local representative of saying I don't believe in this and I don't want it to happen. But it needs to be everyone, right? It can't just be like some other people are doing it. I'm guilty of
You don't
doing that too, by the way.
you don't think all this stuff would just be ignored though, and then they would just move on?
I mean, you should try
Well,
anyway, right? No?
you should
True.
try anyway, but like the point is that they couldn't ignore it because it was literally breaking systems, right?
Yeah.
It was like preventing like the function of the nation. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I could see that. The only issue I have again is it's just that they're not targeting Latinos, right? They're just targeting illegals. Was there some sort of veneer that the Nazis used at first?
Wait,
Like,
wait,
okay,
wait,
we're
They're
wait,
just
wait,
targeting
targeting
wait,
Jewish
wait.
Jews.
people.
Targeting illegals. Hold on. You
They
realize
are
a lot
targeting
of the
Latinos.
people that they're also targeting U.S. citizens. They don't give a fuck whether or not someone's a citizen or not. Sometimes.
Yeah,
Are you
but then
familiar
they're
with
not the. No, go ahead, Matsugan.
what a Kavanaugh stop is?
Vaguely. What is it?
So so the specific case for a Kavanaugh stop is that the Supreme Court was arguing, or ICE was arguing with the Supreme Court that reasonable suspicion should be open to things like having an accent, their job like working at a car wash, using public transportation or standing by the bus, or simply the color of their skin. They're specifically arguing that they should be able to do it. And Kavanaugh was the deciding vote in the was either prevailing or the majority opinion, where basically said that this is right, and that's what they're going off of. Like that's why you hear stories of ICE hitting the same car wash time after time and after time in a week, because the thinking is illegals work at car washes. That's why like employees are getting grabbed out of Target parking lots while they do their grocery delivery order because they are Hispanic.
I understand that. I'm not saying they're not actually targeting Hispanics. I'm saying that they use the veneer of illegals to justify this stuff. And I feel like the Nazis didn't do that. Weren't they just after Jews, plain and simple? Not like Jews in specific or a specific type of Jews, like, oh, these I don't know, these French Jews, they're the issue. And then it evolved into that. That's why I'm asking if you know that there's any, or if the Nazis use any veneer to justify their crimes.
Well, specifically, Nazis made the case that that's where the blood and soil thing came from, where that Jews have a blood that has no country to be in. So they can't be German, they can't be French. In the same way they talk about illegals, they're not American, right? They make the specific blood and soil argument through like they're not integrating, they're not learning American customs, they're not learning American, and also like through the Somali criticism that they're draining American resources through fraud, right? Like the Nick Shirleys and whoever making these arguments that um, that because they are not from the American folk, the American soil, they're just going to steal from us. They don't understand rule of law.
Wait, hold on. Somebody said that. Like, do you really think that they only went after Jews? Like, they went after everybody, right? Like,
Yeah, but
that
did
is
they
not like
start? Am
in
I crazy? They
conspiracy.
started with the Jews, no, though.
They technically started with communists. They first were like a semi-socialist party, and
Oh
that's what the
no.
Night of Long Knives were. That was them killing all the communists in their party and then going after them, and that's how they gained more popularity. Was them like, hey, look, we're the only party that's standing up to the left in Germany. Which again, doesn't that sound familiar?
Yeah, I can see the connection there for sure. So you think this will just evolve into other minority groups then? But the problem is like the only issue for me is that I don't see where the justification would come in to, for example, like en mass target trans people and put them in camps. With
Oh,
illegals, that like it's like retard speak. With illegals, it's right. It's baked right into the name. They're illegal, so it's okay for us to do whatever the fuck we want. It's like an extension of like tough on crime policies or whatever. Where the second you commit a crime, we can basically do whatever you want. That's why they scoff at like prison reform because like yeah, you stole or like I don't know, you stole $1,000. Like yeah, you deserve to get raped in prison. I mean, you know.
sure. I think I do have the answer for it. If you can recall, how do conservatives refer to trans people 99% of the time? That they're mentally ill.
Right, but you
They're just
think
going.
that
They're just going to say, "Oh, they're mentally ill." We actually know that transition doesn't work. They need to be put in conversion camps. They need to be put in. They need to be seen by real doctors who will tell them that this delusion isn't real and that they're just lying to themselves.
true. Or I guess they could also they could use the child rape things where it's like, oh yeah, these trans drag shows or whatever, they're corrupting our children. They need to be in prison for like
Yeah, that
indoctrination or whatever.
it's the same argument that they give for illegals, right? Illegals are corrupting the nation. They're poisoning our blood. All this stuff. They're doing the same play with trans people, saying like, oh, just even having them around your kids is causing them to be trans. It's causing them to be confused. It's making them worse. etc., etc.
I mean, is it not? I'm kidding.
Jesus. Um, yeah, I guess I could see it. Like, I'm not completely opposed to this argument, necessarily. I just have a hard time, I guess, envisioning, what like what that not necessarily what that would look like, but the justifications they would use because they're not at the point yet where they're just saying fuck Latinos. They're still saying fuck illegals. Um, so when it comes to trans people, I could see again, I could see them using some veneer like yeah, they're
I
corrupting our
think the
children or
Latino stuff
whatever.
is just already been like laid down from like the first Trump administration in his campaigning, right? Where he said like where he was making the case that Latinos are rapists and murderers, and like this is like that has now transformed into the dog whistle of 30 million immigrants, right? They're not saying what those 30 million immigrants are doing, but the implying thing is that they're bringing lots of crime and drugs into the country. And wow, 30 million immigrants, they're all doing that. That's why we need to get rid of them. There isn't 30 million good immigrants. They wouldn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I agree. Who do you think will be next then? Let's say that they get their goal of like I don't know deporting all Latinos or most of them or whatever, and now we got no more Latinos in the country. Do you think trans people will be next, or do you think Muslims will be next? What do you think will
I think
happen?
ultimately, like Trump is just an opportunist. So that like the Somalian thing is totally just a zeitgeist moment where like Nick Shirley posted that video to make Somalians look bad, and now it's just like, oh yeah, like now we have another like tentpole issue to go around. Let's start taking Somalian um citizenship. Maybe like I think Venezuelans are still considered Latino or South American, but they're already thinking they were already bringing that up immediately after Maduro got deposed. Was that they were starting to invalidate all of the refugee status for all the political asylum seekers from Venezuela, and basically saying like, hey, now we solved the problem in Venezuela. They have no reason to be here, so now they can go back home.
Is that what they were doing? Because for what I saw was more like they were using the Venezuelan response as like a justification. Like, look at all these Venezuelans who are celebrating the fact that we captured Maduro. It seems to me like they were painting them in a positive light. I didn't see
Yeah,
anything about them
in
being
the court case,
deported or
in a
yeah.
court case, they argued that, hey, look, like the only reason why we have political asylum is because they come from an unstable area. We fixed a problem. Now they can go back.
Mm. Yeah, I agree.
So it'll just be like whatever like social media event comes up. Like I can't even envision what it could be. I wouldn't envision that like the Trump administration is going to look at any like white passing nationalities and be like, yep, they're next. Let's get them out. But maybe depending on like how the administration is going to like not test the waters, but see how public reaction is, right?
Yeah, I agree. I wish I could say more, but yeah, I just agree with you. Yeah, I guess I could see then that they're more like the Nazis than I originally wanted to admit. But I mean, yeah, there's no but. I disagree with you. It's plain and simple.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's sad to see like the fascism has already taken so much hold.
yeah.
You wonder what you can do.
That's the big scary thing for me is that like I don't know how to deal with that. The Trump stuff can be dealt with. He'll die, but like what comes after when these people are so normalized to fascism? Like something tells me when Trump dies, Asmongold is going to be like, well, you know what, guys, maybe I was wrong about like the illegal immigrant stuff. I don't think that'll ever happen. It
Yeah,
seems
no,
like
I don't think so either. Um, one thing I've thought over and over is like part of the problem is just that the American public has grown so disillusioned with everything except the executive branch of government doing stuff like you know um and just for my entire memory of a voter, I'm like 36, I'm a boomer. um like all this, like every election is the president is going to right the ship, right? Like the ship is going in the wrong direction. The president is going to, this new guy, he's going to turn the tide. He's going to get us out of Iraq. He's going to get us Medicare for all. He's going to solve the housing crisis. He's going to solve the border crisis, blah, blah, blah. And it's really like we need Congress to do that. And like we need to alleviate the gridlock in Congress. We need to stop having Congress basically defer to the president to do something, because the whole cycle is that like people bring up issues to the Supreme Court of X reason that shouldn't happen or should happen, and this conservative court is mostly going like, hey, if you want this change to happen, Congress should just pass a law. Don't look to the court to change this. But then people grow so frustrated that Congress will just filibuster, and the most they'll do is pass like 6 bills a year, and most of it doesn't directly affect them except maybe like stimulus checks. And then the president just like takes advantage of that and say like, well, yeah, those were my stimulus checks, right? Like I come up with it. So like, I don't know how you brainwash the entire American Republic to like, hey, you should get to know your House of Representatives uh, person better. You should be paying attention to them as much as you pay to the president, because the president is a big light fixture, or a big fixture in American politics.
Would you say that we need to limit the powers of the executive, like really back a lot more?
Yeah, I don't know how you do that, but yeah, part of the problem is that we've namely in national security, and I don't know how you do the national security argument through Congress, but like, that was how Bush gained a lot of power, was that, and Obama too, frankly, is that they would go to the courts and they go to Congress saying, hey, this is a national security thing. We can't tell you about it, but you got to just let us do what we need to do. And Congress would be like, well, fine, because I don't want to go back to my voters and say like, yeah, I stopped this, or I made this call that caused American lives to be lost.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't know. Like you said, the logistics of it is just really hard. I don't know how you could possibly change people's opinions. The thing that I like I keep saying, it just goes back to like short form content and propaganda. It just seems like people don't care. Politics for them is like a stupid game. Um, and
Oh,
like,
for
it's
sure.
yeah, exactly. So when it comes to like getting them more interested or invested in Congress, to me that seems like almost like an impossibility. It seems like there's literally no way to make these people do that outside of like banning short form content. But like obviously that's I don't think that's very feasible. Um,
It,
yeah,
it'd
the
just be like more bills need to be passed, right?
I
And
guess
like
yeah.
like this to make a rant, this can all be like traced back to like Newt Gingrich and the new conservatives in the 90s that were basically like, we need to be as obstinate as possible and no longer um what is it, negotiate with Democrats. We need to make Democrats demons and devils, and you never negotiate with demons and devils. And it's like, it's a very enticing, like, I'm like that with like, I'd never want to negotiate with a Republican ever again. But honestly, compromise is the way we would move forward to getting stuff passed in Congress. Is we need like the border security bill, right, under Biden. If that passed, that would have turned the temperature down quite a bit on the border crisis. But Trump got his way, and now he's justifying it to send pseudo Gestapo to the states who don't comply.
Um, yeah, it's just a really tough situation, I guess, all around. Like it's really hard to envision stopping these people. There's also like the foreign interference angle, like with Tim Pool and like his Russian fucking funded propaganda and stuff like that. Um, it just seems like in terms of an information war, liberalism is like losing really, really, really hard. It seems cringe to like advocate for voting almost. People just like the idea of an authoritarian leader. They're just into it now.
Yeah, people want change, and liberals can only bring like incremental change of like, hey, maybe this year we can get you 1,000 or two more dollars in your paycheck, or maybe like another holiday, right? And like, this was my frustration I think last night's Foodshops, was somebody was bringing up like, um conservative versus libs, and it's just like, Republicans can just lie, right?
Yeah.
Democrats, Kamala Harris, can come up and like speak like small truths, or these really soft truths, are like, well, I can't fix your housing prices, but what we can do is like blah blah blah. And people don't want to hear that shit. They want to be like, I want you to say that you're going to kick uh every construction company in the balls, and then
Mm.
going to build 5 million new houses this year, and
Yeah.
they're all going to be priced $100,000.
Yep. Well, I mean, people are just really stupid on politics in general. I mean, like that. Yeah.
Yeah, there just needs to be some kind of de-Trumpification, I guess you would say. Um, but yeah, the feasibility is just really hard. It's really hard to envision what that would look like. Because what the fuck can you do? I don't think people are gonna want to give up their TikTok. You saw like the big backlash from these fucking retards when they were crying about TikTok potentially being banned. And like, oh guys, we have
Yeah.
to go to fucking Red Note. We have to go to an even more Chinese app. It's yeah, go ahead.
Or just like just how people like soyed the fuck out of the Biden administration contacting Twitter of just like, hey, these people are spreading out lies about COVID. Can you ban them? Can you restrict them? Can you do something? And Twitter said no, but now we still have cons saying like, oh, did you know the Bidens uh tried to silence minority opinions on the internet? Did you
Was
know
that
that the
about
FBI
COVID? I thought the only thing they asked to be taken down were pictures of Hunter Biden's cock.
there was Hunter Biden stuff, but there was also COVID misinformation where they would like bring up specific posts saying like, hey, this kind of stuff is not good.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't know what like it just seems like all the it seems cringy to say it, but it just seems like all the evil forces just have like a better grip on the media. They have total media control.
I,
Trump
I,
just determines what's in the newslines, and that's it. People
yeah,
just read the headlines.
I will say like what we see today is the culmination of a 30-year project that started in the 90s, right? Of Newt Gingrich, the Federalist Society, putting putting not only their pieces in a row to get elected, but also going to colleges and law schools to recruit and shape young conservatives to be ready to be put in office so that when the time comes they'll be willing participants of whoever comes. They didn't envision Donald Trump, but they did envision that there's going to be some populist movement that comes up that completely opposes yeah, it started in the 80s as well with Reagan, right? This
Oh,
idea
well,
of
yeah.
the new right.
I think I've talked about this before, where I said like you should never believe that any of this began and will end with Trump, because I think that is the ultimate flaw in a lot of people, even the politically informed people, is that they believe that, oh, it began with Trump, it will end with Trump. That's not the case, because something had to create the right environment for somebody like Trump to become successful, basically. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
stumbling
I
is
think
right.
and I think that this
Oh,
is not like a conspiracy theory, but like the end result of a project that's been out in the public for decades at this point. So, but
oh,
people
for
just
sure.
don't pay
Like
attention. Yeah.
um if you go back to like George Bush had like a really bad moment with the right when he what was it? I think he nominated Justice Alito to the Supreme Court, and basically a bunch of conservatives in both the House and the Senate said they wouldn't vote for him because he wasn't a Federalist Society recommended justice. They specifically said like, "Hey, we have a roster of people we want you to elect. Go these. We don't care that this guy, I forget what he was. He was one of Bush's secretaries. Um, but yeah, stumbling's right. Is like with the media in general, the whole temperature changed when they got rid of the fairness doctrine, where it wasn't specifically that you had to give equal time. It's just that you couldn't just create a narrative, and news organizations couldn't just be entertainment. Like that's what Fox News is now. Like, think back to your Rush Limbaugh's original who would call all Democrats communists because they would talk about like, oh, maybe having like more socialized housing is a good thing. Maybe not a definite plan.
I think there was like a problem with liberalism, because people want infotainment. That's like the big thing. People get bored when you ask
Yeah,
them to
people want
like
blood
read.
sports.
Yeah, exactly. When you ask them to read a book or something, that's why they resonate so hard with alternative media nowadays, instead of like watching the news and stuff like that. And it seems like, how do you even prevent that from happening? Like, what? Let's say you're like a political streamer, and you're like at the level of Foodshops. Like, should she be like, for example, like regulated on what she could say or do, in terms of, like, to prevent something like that from happening again? And then like you scale it up, or like at what point, like how many viewers are you allowed to have? How many subscribers are you allowed to have before it's like, okay, now you have to adhere to like these policies similar to like a news organization? People don't want that shit. They want to be preached to. They want their Asmongold, basically. They want some retard to come and like spew the exact same shit they always hear, and justify it in their fucking eyes. Um, like I'm sure that lots of people maybe initially thought, oh, another ICE shooting. Okay, whatever. Like I don't care because fuck the liberals. And then they go to their infotainment for the justification. And it seems to me like it's almost like a problem with freedom of speech that it feels like these people shouldn't be allowed to speak basically. But like if you try to implement something like that, it would obviously be heavily sided towards conservatives, and it would look like you're basically limiting what they're allowed to say, and it's like a really easy argument for them to win. It's like, whoa, you're infringing on my freedom of speech, like when they were getting banned off X and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like other countries like Britain and Germany who are like dealing with kind of like a right wing rise, they specifically have laws where it's like, hey, you can't infringe the rights of another human being online, and that's why you see people getting arrested for like advocating for burning down hotels that house immigrants, or like in Germany specifically, like people will say like, oh, we should shoot immigrants on the border, and they'll instantly get arrested because again, they have a constitutional amendment saying that you can't reduce the human dignity of another person, even if they aren't part of the country. Which, in the end, I think that is why those countries were so strong to begin with their human rights, is because it was like beyond the societal norm and enforced norm. Because like, part of the problem with Trump is that um, a lot of people thought what were guardrails were actually just societal norms, and just the conversations of Trumps and Republicans have just eroded those now to the point where it's like, yeah, people are like, oh, I shot another person. Well, I'm sure he did something wrong. I'm in a like a debate lord server with a far right conservative, and he's basically saying like, hey, um, shouldn't have gone to the protest with a gun.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Should,
always fuck
you
around
shouldn't
and
have
find out with these fucking
you
retards.
shouldn't be trying to impede a like, this guy like complains about fluoride in the water, but at the same time he's like, hey, you can't obstruct the feds. They got a job to do.
Yeah. It like I said, it's just a really tough situation to be in. And it for me, maybe I'm just too doomer. It just feels like there's no way out. That's like the big thing for me. Whenever I try to envision like what could happen or what measures could be taken, there obviously has to be like a combination of shit. It can't just be like one
Yeah.
constitutional amendment or whatever. But it feels like even if you implement a lot of different policies, like Americans are just so backward and like demonic that it doesn't matter. They just won't ever accept it. And there'll always be pushback. That's how it seems like. It at least recently, it's always like left, right, left, right. Um, in terms of like how they swing, depending on what's happening like in the current day. But there's no long-term thinking that you can do other than like I don't know, buffing the Department of Education. That's like the only thing I can think of that'll have like really good effects is like hopefully getting people educated properly, but even that won't work because who's to say like the next Donald Trump won't just come in and gut the department again? I think you're back to square one.
This is why you need to starve people.
Jesus.
Yeah, you need to make people
Well,
uncomfortable.
well, well
I
I
don't
mean,
know
I
if
mean, I mean that sounds harsh, but like again, right? The government needs to shut down again until people have to rely on food stamps, and this time maybe even for a longer time until people start dying. And then once they start feeling that, and they have to rely on their neighbors who are blue hatters, like when the MAGA people have to go around asking their fucking liberal neighbors, then at that point, they're gonna be way more amicable. Then you force them to start talking, maybe. But like
I
I
feel like
think,
that would build resentment though. Like, oh, these
not then fuck
fucking
it.
liberals
No,
took
no,
away our
then
food
fuck it.
stamps.
Well, then they die.
Well, then they just die.
They
Easy.
just die.
I
Yeah,
was
I mean, like,
like
I think at this point we are at this point where like I'm willing to accept like a loss of life in order to rectify the situation in the country. I don't
I
think there's
agree.
any I don't think there's any solution that does not involve like losing lives or like putting in the cost of lives for it. Yeah.
anything quick, yeah. I would agree with that. I think the the soy liberal answer is that this is going to be a multi-decade project to back America away from where it is now. I'm reminded. This is just tangent, but I'm reminded. There's a public infrastructure YouTube channel called Not Just Bikes, and he gets a lot of questions of just like, how can we make America more public infrastructure friendly? And he had a really big doomer video where basically it was like, it'll take 100 years for America to get anywhere close to anywhere in Europe, and he's right. There is no hope for the current generation of just being like, oh, maybe we'll have trains. Probably not. You'll probably have to work your entire life for a project so that maybe your grandkids will get to enjoy it. But that's sadly how conservatives got into power, right? Like Newt Gingrich died before he could see the rise of Donald Trump and see everything that he wanted, but it eventually happened for him. I will say, like, as a hopeful statement, is like what we're seeing in Minnesota is we're seeing a lot of liberals and leftists come together on it. Like we're seeing stuff like people, just strangers going to schools to chaperone kids to make sure they get on the bus and they aren't captured by ICE or
That's like
used by.
minus Hassan, right? But minus Hassan because
Yeah,
he's probably going around
he's
blaming Democrats instead and telling people to
no,
not vote for
he's going
Democrats.
there saying like, oh, the Democrats are responsible for this as much as Republicans. That Kamala
Yeah.
wouldn't be like a difference.
Yeah, because just careful, because I think the way that you use leftism is like the same way that Lonerbox uses it, which is like the European sense, which just means that it's like liberals, right, or whatever, just like very very progressive liberals. But then usually what people are thinking of are like dipshit lefties like Hassan, right, or like not even Vosh, because Vosh like actually encourages voting for Democrats, but like people like Hassan
not
or
anymore.
Vosh was saying that Kamala would be just as bad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind. So not Vosh.
Electoralism.
Oh, okay, then including Vosh, then fuck that. But then people like fuck, I don't know, other like fucking lefty like Brianna Joy Gray, right? Like these people, like again, this is what people think of when they think of lefties. So just be careful on which language you're using.
Just liberals are coming together to support each other in ways that are outside the government.
Well, I would agree that leftists, even in the Hassan Piker stand, are coming together to oppose ICE. The issue that I have is like, it feels like the Hassan Piker, he can do the same thing as MAGA, where he just lies and he says he'll fix everything with a communist revolution or whatever, or socialist revolution, and then you're just like right back to square one. Where instead of people believing in MAGA like deep-throatedly, now it's like some weird like slightly neutered form of communism. That they'll like be super attracted to because this one's promising to fix everything instead of the right wing people, and that's either like that's why I think the education's really important to be able to avoid this stuff. But like it seems like almost all across the world this is happening, and even like, and I have like I just don't have hope for the next generation. Like all these kids are fucking stupid. Like they're actually just fucking retards, and like they like. It's just a combination of all the internet shit.
I mean, then if that really is the case, then fuck it. Then sometimes you just got to accept that new reality. The new reality that a lot of people are just going to be retards, and you're going to be the one cursed with knowledge, right? Because it's like it's one of these things where sometimes you have to come to terms with the like actual situation, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like even if you're trying to do the utmost, like maybe you're a doomer and you're doing the utmost. I think being a doomer is almost like, I don't know, being in denial about things, because it's like you still don't want to refuse to accept the reality, because at that point you feel like kind of doomer about it. But then I think doomer drives to like not much action. I think that it means that, oh yeah, well, I'm not going to stand around and do anything because, everything is hopeless. But I think that the faster you can come to terms with things, the faster you can accept, like you can try to do as much as you could. And that's the only thing that you can affect, right? And one person can do a lot. So like don't ever underestimate the power of one person changing things.
But you still need political will in society. I'm okay with writing off all of MAGA, but then it's like,
I mean, at that point, then just give up, right? It's as simple as that, right? Because at this point, if you're just doomer about everything and everything is just sucks, then just give up. Simple as, right?
Well, it's not about giving up. It's just more about diagnosing like how the issue could be fixed. That's the thing for me. Like I want to acknowledge that like, okay, these things, the leftist side could be just as dangerous.
Sure. But if the solution was like that simple, then somebody would have already done it, right? But the solution isn't that simple, and yeah, like what can you do? This is again like I already said like a bunch of solutions that you can potentially do. I think that Matsugen also said a really great solution, which is like you overload government systems until they can no longer ignore it, right? They have to do something in order to get things running again. If Congress will not shut down the government, then the people will, right? So therefore, like that is one way that can happen. But again, like it's one of these things where if we don't do enough, like even if you're the only one trying to make change happen, but other people don't want to make change happen, then yeah, we're just kind of fucked. It is what it is. But then at the same time, like you should never accept that as the reality either. I think you should be somebody who should be pushing for other people to care as well, right? Yeah, I don't know. Like
Oh,
you have to operate within your bounds. I think you're still young,
yeah.
and I think that when you're young,
Around
you
28.
typically have a lot of like fiery passion about things. You have a lot of drive. And then you also get kind of doomer because the world cannot catch up to your ADHD attention span. But like the point is that like yeah, I don't know. That's it.
I don't have personal experience into this, but if you want to feel like you're contributing more to politics, then you should get just more involved with like local politics, like going to a city council meeting or going to even just like a school board. Because I can tell you now, like nobody goes to those. And if you're someone who shows up just every session once a month, they're going to remember you and they're going to remember whatever you have to say because you're the only demographic that they interact with.
Yeah, I agree. I've been to a couple city council meetings. But that shit is just pure rage bait because for like you're convincing local people to your side, which I agree with. I think you should do it. But oh my God, when you're talking to these city council people and they're just like on their phones fucking texting, it's
Oh, yeah.
insane fucking rage bait. Like it gets me so fucking heated.
Yeah.
But what can you do
No,
if you
it's
start
true.
pimping out? They just make you look like a fucking idiot. Um, it's really, really annoying. But yeah, I agree. Like there needs to be more of a local level of like of political change. That resonates with people more. Um, but it's only the people who are involved. The big thing is getting more people involved into those local politics, which has been a struggle even before Trump. People just don't care about anything but the presidential races. Um, that's why like I'm not trying to be a doomer.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
no.
figure out how to make
What?
these
Well, okay,
things
wait.
happen.
If you were there rage baiting, that doesn't mean you shouldn't go anymore, right? Like it just means that
Well, that's not what I'm
you need
saying.
to like get on the podium and go like, I don't know why you fucking people are on your phones, okay? You fucking pieces of shit, all right? You guys need to get off your phones and start doing stuff. Then you need to start doing something like that, right? Like rather than go like, oh my god, I hate seeing this. Bye. Like yeah, like that would be
Yeah, or
bad,
you know,
right?
also like think of it like training a dog. You got to be able to give positive reinforcement. I live in the DFW area, and we had a really big case where basically the mayor of Dallas was trying to convince the city council to accept ICE into the city to help law enforcement, and the police chief said no, that it would just detract from resources, and that any of the grant money, like that was promised, didn't really like. If you look at the terms and conditions of it, didn't look like it would actually be deployed. And then we had city council vote where the mayor didn't even show up. He didn't even show up to it. Where we had city councilors arguing like this is a huge waste. This is stupid. The mayor has no idea what he's talking about. I trust the police chief. And even though I'm not in their district, I sent an email to all those representatives saying, "Hey, you make me proud to be a Dallasite. If you came to my district, I would happily vote for you. And you know what? If you have any opponent that comes from my district, I would happily vote against them because this is the kind of change we need."
I agree. That's why that's why I'm
I
kind
mean,
of
do
I
you
don't
agree
really
though?
vote
I
for
mean, you keep
people.
saying that you agree, but it just doesn't seem like you do actually agree. I don't know.
I definitely do
You
agree.
don't just say that as like to move the conversation forward. Like you because I don't know. Like it feels like okay, Masokin is like offering you like things that you can like practically do, like yourself as one person can practically do, but you can just go like, oh well, I'm still doomer afterwards. Like like I don't know. I don't know what's the productivity in that. You know.
Well, that's just how I feel. I can't get too much into it, but I participate. I think more than 99% of people do in local
You probably do.
politics.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, probably do.
you go to if you go to like fucking town halls and shit, objectively you do. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Objectively.
like,
Yeah.
I've worked with like local politicians as well, like canvassing. Well, that's kind of how I got my start with canvassing. I helped one with a little bit of messaging. Um, I believe in all these things really, really strongly. And I don't think they don't work. I'm just highlighting like the struggles that you'll face as you do it. Like when I said
Yeah.
that I get rage bait at city council meetings, I'm not saying that to not go. I'm just saying like be prepared to be fucking rage baited. I don't think it's productive to chimp out in front of them and go on a hinge. I think it makes you look worse. I think you do need to
I
have like
mean, to be fair,
somewhat of a
Marjorie Taylor
collective.
Greene unhinged herself all the way up to her position now, right? Like she has been unhinged this entire time. I mean, so I'm just saying. Look, there is a
Yeah.
path forward. Okay, like no matter
Well,
what path you choose, there's a path forward. You can do it the Obama way, or you can do it the Marjorie Taylor Greene way. I mean, either way, like it's gonna work, right? Whatever, just
do you
keep
agree more
going.
with the Obama way or the Marjorie Taylor Greene way?
I think it doesn't matter. I think that as long as you have the passion and the drive, just like how there's many different content creators who make it and they're all different. I think that as long as you have the passion and the drive, like you can definitely make it that far. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe the answer is
It might
getting
it
more
might even be
VCers.
easier than becoming a successful content creator because there's less competition. And, like literally all the fucking kids want to be streamers and shit these days, but then nobody wants to become a fucking politician, you know what I mean? Like nobody wants to
Yeah, because
become
Yeah.
that.
politicians are
They
held to a
fucking they don't want
standard
to
and they're
become that. Yeah.
scrutinized. Whereas, like as a streamer, I mean, the big allure to being a streamer is like
Is
the
infotainment, yeah.
well that and like the luxury of it. People like the
Hmm.
idea of like not having to work and just like going on stream and saying like your opinions and getting money for it. That's what the allure for streaming is. I don't think it's like changed when it comes for young people. I mean, I don't think it's changed. People don't like a lot of people don't aspire to be like Destiny. They aspire way more to be like a Jason the Ween type of figure where you're just going out and partying all the
Yeah,
time.
they want to be famous. There was
Yeah.
every year, gosh, I can't remember. I think it's the American Psychological Society, but or American Psychiatric Society, but a study is done where they poll kids in high school to see like what the topmost careers are, and starting in like
I think I
2010s,
saw this.
yeah, famous went from being like number 8 to number 6 to number 3 to now number 1 as the dream job. Everybody just wants to be famous. They want to get on YouTube because they just interact with that medium, right? Like of course, like who wants to be a baseball star if you don't play baseball? Nobody.
Go to the bathroom. Keep talking. Entertain the stream.
Yeah, I agree. That's like a whole separate conversation. But I agree with you 100%. Um, it's just because they're constantly on Instagram or they're constantly on these social media platforms where they see these people like oh, I just ate out at this like, super expensive restaurant and I'm partying with all these like super attractive women and they love me because I'm so famous and so rich and all that stuff. That's what they want. They don't like there's not a big political or there's not a big will to be a political person in my opinion, because I think that is just open to a lot of scrutiny, and people don't like that, especially kids.
Yeah, no,
Um,
and just reading a comment in chat from Abby Physics. Yeah, Foodshops works incredibly hard. She's one of the people I know in my life who like is one of the hardest workers and has one of the best work ethics I've known from a person. Right, like this isn't an easy profession to exceed in.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's why I think that. Well, that's not why, but yeah, at the end of the day, I think that it's more about the luxury than it is about having like a substantial impact on people's lives. I don't think people care as much about that anymore, unfortunately. But I think they should. And I want people to care about it. That's like the really important thing. I really do want people to be more politically active and aware and to like read articles on their own instead of waiting for their streamer to read it so they could form their opinions and stuff like that. Um, the issue for me is just like getting it done. Because it just seems like what we've been doing so far isn't having as much as of an effect. I think that it does work over time, but I feel like these newer methods of just like you said, like just going bombastic and saying like, yeah, I'll fix everything. I feel like that works a lot more. And changing people's minds on that is really, really difficult. It's really like at least for me, it's really rare to see people like come to the light essentially. Like, oh, I was like believing in all this stupid shit, but then like I did my own research and I actually realized that I was wrong. It's way more like I found some shit that confirmed my biases. Uh, and yeah, I don't know how to. The issue for me is I
Yeah,
just don't know how to fix that.
yeah. I mean, there's fuck, I can't remember this from my psych classes, but there's an idea of cognitive loading and cognitive offloading where like your brain naturally wants to do as little work as possible, so it's going to seek the easiest resolution to things. It's not individually thinking about every foot that you put out in front of itself and walks. It automates the process in the same way people look for information. They're going to look for ways that shorten their thinking as much as possible so that they can focus on other things. Um, so I I think one problem the U.S. uniquely faces is the U.S. is really big and it has a lot of different communities, so it's really hard to get like a singular cultural identity. Especially with like the atomization through like social media and everything. Everybody's in their own bubbles. Everybody has their own in-group. Like we're food shoppers, right? We're the cream of the crop. No one else is like us. Sorry.
Uh-huh. Continue, yeah.
But like it's really hard to feel like you're part of a movement these days outside of getting
Are we a
involved with
cult?
something.
Are we a cult?
Might,
Like that was
might
some
be.
cult speak right there.
Right? No. We're not. We're not a cult. We just all really
Okay.
like food shops, guys.
Okay,
And
all
it's
right,
not
man.
weird.
Okay.
And
And it's
it's not
weird.
parasocial.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah,
I need
don't
to
know. I
get
don't
back
know
to
what
my content.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I have no idea what else I could say. So
Yeah.
it was
Okay.
nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, thank you
Peace
for
out, my
bringing me on.
friends. Peace
Yeah, of
out.
course.
Goodbye.
See you.
Okay. All right, love you guys. Bye. Ooh.